Hey everyone, how is it going? Joe is back here to talk about Game 7 between the Oilers and the Canucks. The Canucks are burning down their city again as we speak. The Oilers advance to face Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. How is that going to go? What happened in this game? All of that will be discussed right now between me and this thing. It's just fucking me. Um, let's talk about some questionable decisions in terms of the lineup on the Oilers' part. Obviously, the Canucks had their hand forced in order to make a couple moves in the lineup with the Besser situation. They put back together the line that I really like, the Joshua Lindholm and Garland line. That line will be productive in this game. However, the Oilers scratch Adam Henrique and Corey Perry for Connor Brown and Sam Carrick. So I'm not sure why. You got Corey Perry, who has all the playoff experience in the world. He has the most playoff games played out of any active player. He might have taken many notches down, but that experience is invaluable to a team, and you're going to scratch him and put in Connor Brown, who just sucks all around anyways. The only reason he's there is because McDavid wanted him. And then you put in Sam Carrick for Adam Henrique. And isn't Sam Carrick just like the depth piece that you added in that trade? Just makes it look bad, right? I mean, we were talking about looking bad, taking Pedersen out of the line, or taking Hoglander over Pedersen out of the lineup for the Canucks earlier. Um, this just makes you look like a dumbass putting in Sam Carrick when the main piece of that trade was Adam Henrique. I don't know why you take a guy like Henrique out. He obviously hasn't been as effective as they would like, but obviously more experience as well than Sam Carrick. Can't complain too much because they did win the game. However, these were questionable choices, and they are choices that might come back to bite them against Dallas, a former team of Corey Perry, who he went to the finals with. Um, but we'll see what the Oilers do in that situation. As far as the game goes, the Canucks came out early swinging. Only got one shot though in like the first 15 minutes. They had all kinds of chances. They were generating them, getting blocked, missing the net. It was crazy. The Oilers were riding with Cody Ceci earlier, making it even weirder that Perry was a scratch decision. The fact that Cody Ceci is not your best defenseman, Ekholm is better. Bouchard is better. Dare I say Darnell Nurse is better. But Cody Ceci, he has that playoff experience. He was there with Ottawa when they made their run. He was on one of the Leaf teams, which doesn't add too many games, but those are playoff years. And he obviously has a lot of years under his belt. And that's a great decision to ride him. It pays off later. I don't think he's a great defenseman. I think he kind of sucks. But you're riding him because of his experience, and that makes sense. But then again, why are you scratching other guys with experience? So it's kind of like a two-sided sword. They're doing this and they're doing that. It's like I don't understand. Like I said, can't complain with how they ended up in this game though. Bouchard, Evan Bouchard. Like I said, we are flexing on Evan Bouchard. He is my most underrated player this year. As far as I can think, I can't think of anyone else who's been more underrated than Bouchard. He has as many shots as the Canucks do, three quarters through the first period, and he's a defenseman. So Bouchard once again is going off. The Canucks, who gets high stick? Pedersen gets high stick by somebody on the from the Oilers, and they get a 4-minute power play. They get 0 shots, yet they allow one on a Connor Brown breakaway. They were like, here's a breakaway, Connor. I was like, oh my god. They were like, Brown. I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna make the save. And Seelovs does make the save, but that's just atrocious. No shots on the power play. Very little chances on the power play. Edmonton was very good and efficient at clearing it, but then again, it was just the Canucks playing poorly as well. And then after they finish off that power play, in the second period, Holloway screens for CC, and CC is able to get it in. So there you go with that playoff experience. CC knows when to shoot. He sees the screen and he gets it off. It was a great shift of momentum for the Oilers, who just went from killing to going on the offense. It's something I wish the Bruins would do because, like I said, when they end up killing a penalty, the opposition maintains the pressure. Most teams are able to flip it just like the Oilers did, where it's like, yeah, we did kill the penalty. Momentum's on our side. Bruins are unable to do that. The Oilers do it here absolutely perfectly, and they get the capitalization on it and score first, which they should. This is like their 15th shot on net to the Canucks under five. I swear to God. In the second period, it is just can't say enough about it, man. Can't say enough about it in a negative fashion. The Oilers on their own power play are having some crazy action right in front of the net. They are getting all these close-in chances. They get 7 shots on this power play. 7! That's more than the Canucks have the whole fucking game. And it's a 2-minute power play. The Canucks had a 4. But other than that, let's talk about McDavid again in a negative light. Draisaitl passed for McDavid in the slot. No traffic in front of him. He has a clean shot. He passes back through traffic to Draisaitl. Now, granted, it landed on Draisaitl's stick, so he doesn't get burned for it. But one of these times, McDavid, if you just took that shot, dude, that was going in. And we're going to talk about it a little more later. It's just ridiculous, man. I can't trust McDavid. He can't do that against the Stars. We'll talk about that later. But Seelows makes a beautiful glove save on Draisaitl, so it's a great chance. I still don't support of the McDavid decision. Funny enough, this shot did go off Ian Cole's stick, so if Seelows hadn't saved it, it's another goal for Ian Cole on his own net. It's unbelievable. This guy, there's no way this fucker is playing in the NHL next year. He has been horrible. Then they kill it off. Edmonton maintains the pressure, kind of Bruins-esque for the Canucks. Kane is able to outmaneuver Zadorov. We know that has been a story in these playoffs with Zadorov being part of that cross-check that got Susie banned for a game. He outmaneuvers him and goes right in alone on Seelovs. Seelovs makes the save in close. He does not again make the save in from far. Evan Bouchard from the blue line. We all thought this was his 6th goal of the playoffs, and I'm just screaming like, this guy. It ends up Hyman tipped it, which kind of stinks, but that's Hyman's 11th goal leading the playoffs and Bouchard's 12th assist. I can only assume that is leading. Actually, no, I think Nugent Hopkins even has more than that. I'm gonna double back on that. I think Nugent Hopkins is above that. I think McDavid is probably above that with how much he's been passing. Yeah, McDavid has 19 assists. Oh my God. It's so hard to say it's going to bite him, but I really do think it's going to. Because he's going to have an empty net at some point and just not shoot it, and it's going to bite him in the ass. But anyways, I called it. I called it this whole time. Everyone is glorifying him. He has 2 goals, guys. He has 2 fucking goals. 19 assists is insane. I get it. Incredible. But you have 2 goals, man. Shoot the fucking puck. Anyways, Connor McDavid. This goal was from the same exact spot as the CC goal, so not sure what Seelovs can't do from being far out. Obviously, Hyman did tip it up front, but I think that goal was going in regardless. The Hyman tip was like minuscule. And then the Canucks finally get buzzing, and Sam Lafferty takes an offensive zone penalty. Evan Bouchard on the power play misses the net, goes off the boards, back, perfect bounce. Almost like it was planned. It wasn't. I know I'm dick riding Bouchard. This was not planned. To Nugent Hopkins. Nugent Hopkins, one-timer with an empty net. 3-0 Oilers. And here's the thing with McDavid, man. Here's the thing. I bet fucking McDavid would have passed it. I guarantee he would have passed that crap with an empty net. Seelovs tries to dive over like the 09 save from Marc-Andre Fleury to win the Stanley Cup. It was really, really close. Nugent's able to get it in though, and like I said, McDavid would have passed that, and it would have gone to someone else, and they would have had their shot blocked. And it would. I really wish it was McDavid doing it because I want him to learn, man. I want him to learn because I want the best for the Oilers this offseason or postseason. I don't know who I want to win the Dallas Oilers series. I'm kind of leaning Oilers. And I love, love, love Dallas. But he's got to I'm not impressed by McDavid in terms of his ability to score. I don't think anyone is. And if they are, then you're not watching the fucking games, dude. He is not scoring. Enough said. And then finally in the third period, Ryan McLeod turns it over at the wrong place in the wrong time. Darren A can't move quick enough to block it. Connor Garland grabs the puck and scores. It is 3-1. And then with 4 minutes left in the third period, Ekholm screens his own goalie, Skinner obviously, and Hronek from the blue line gives Edmonton a taste of their own medicine. 3-2 with 4 minutes left. So you're like, oh, this ought to be a really friggin' entertaining end of the game. No. Nope. because the Canucks aren't able to get it on their stick. Dude, they're trying to pull Seelovs for about a minute and a half before they actually can, because Edmonton is just guarding the blue line and is not letting the Canucks with a clean entry. And the Canucks are just dumping and chasing, and the Oilers is just sending it out. It's like you dump when no one is there. No one is there to take the dump, and it's that sounded funny, but it was horrible 6-on-5 hockey from the Canucks. There was one shot very late into it, like 15 seconds left. It was blocked and then sent out. I don't. They definitely missed Brock Besser here. This is where Brock Besser shines. I'm not saying he would have made a difference with how poorly they were executing their play getting into the zone, but he could have helped. And it's a what if now. You know what I'm saying? Like they were in the situation where Brock Besser performs best and failed at it, so it does become a what if. I don't think it would have made a difference though. But that is that. That's a wrap on the second round for all the teams. We know the conference finals. I just feel like this whole thing is moving by so fast. Zach Hyman, yeah, Zach Hyman. I don't know why I questioned his name. Zach Hyman had 5 shots. 5 players on the team had 3 shots. Kane and Carrick had 4 hits, and Darnell Nurse had 4 blocks. Onto the Canucks. Their max shots per player were 3 with Garland and Giuseppe. Everyone else had less. Dakota Joshua went out with a bang and a hit with 8 hits. Lindholm and Pedersen had 5. So what do we think about the Oilers moving forward? Actually, let's cover the Canucks really quick first. UFAs, you got Teddy Bluger. He's probably gone. Unfortunately, he's been a staple of their centers for the past few years, but he's probably going to move on. Maybe you try to sign him just because he has a lot of experience with you guys, but I think his time is up. Elias Lindholm, they probably aren't getting back. Dakota Joshua, that's the guy I want them to focus on the most. He really had a breakout season this year, I feel. I feel like he was like, a depth scorer for them the past few years, but now he's a hard hitter, third line winger with the potential of being a middle 6 going up to the second line as well. I think you lock up Joshua, and that is your focus this offseason. Other than like replace Lindholm and stuff like that. Sam Lafferty gone. Ian Cole better be fucking gone. He sucks. Um, Zadorov, I think Zadorov is probably moving on. I wouldn't be surprised if he signed with Vancouver. It was a success story for that trade for Vancouver, which has been at the beginning when they were playing Bavillier in Nashville, a question obviously. Zadorov passed the test. He was a great signing by them, or a great trade acquisition by them. So I think Zadorov and Joshua are the guys you focus on the most, and then Teddy Bluger. Oh, and Myers is probably also gone. I could see them re-signing Tyler Myers at a low price, but I don't think he's going to want a low price. He's kind of found his place on a second line, and I'm sure he'd be very helpful in a place that's trying to rebuild. And then the only RFA is Philip Hronek. I could see them re-signing him. I could also see him leaving. Obviously, as an RFA, he'd be a lot easier to sign than any of the UFAs, but you definitely have some more essential UFAs that you're going to want to sign over Hronek. So he might get overlooked and then just passed up on. But I don't think he's a bad player. I wasn't surprised when he was able to score that final goal for the Canucks. He has been buzzing all playoffs, mostly defensively, but if you're playing well, you're playing well, and he ends up getting that goal. So I think Hronek is a great defenseman. I think you sign him if you're Vancouver, but you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You focus on Joshua, you focus on Zadorov, you focus on Bluger, and then you kind of lean over to Hronek. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Canucks offseason. Like I said, I would recommend them get a couple centers, especially one to replace Elias Lindholm. You're going to need a little more defensive depth if you're losing Cole, Myers, as bad as Cole is, and potentially Zadorov and Hronek. You're going to need some more defensive depth. That's another reason you want to keep Zadorov and Hronek. You're losing 2 other defensemen. That is 6 defensemen you would be losing. The only ones left that I can think of are Hughes and crap. Hughes and who else? Whom else? Would have been embarrassing if I didn't get Hughes. What other defenseman am I forgetting? Oh, Susie. So yeah, you're losing all your defensemen other than Susie and Hughes. That's why I think you get Zadorov and Hronek back, so you only got to replace 2. And then get a couple centers in there, and you're good. I think this is a great core that you have in Vancouver. I would keep it intact. I know I've been saying that a lot lately for these teams that have been to the second round, but a lot of the teams that have been making the second round are newer teams that have been here. So I think that the core is important to keep, except for the Bruins. Bruins, you gotta shake things up. You gotta get a new core. But other than that, yeah, that is what I think for the Canucks. I think this was a successful season. Like I said on the other podcast, I'm glad Edmonton advanced. They definitely needed this more than Vancouver. Unless you're talking about the city of Vancouver, then Vancouver needed it not to have burning buildings and dumpster fires and exploding cars and shit. But Oilers as a team definitely needed this more. Now, what do I think is going to happen in the conference final? I think that the Oilers are in for a rude awakening. I think this is just going to be a warm up for the Stars for whoever they got to face out of the Panthers and the Rangers. I think because here's the thing you got to remember is Stuart Skinner. Sure, he's had a shutout, right? And he's had a couple good games. He only allowed two this game. They were within 4 minutes though. But you got to remember how many shots this team was getting on net compared to how much Dallas is going to get on net. Dallas is going to be able to get a lot more shots on net. You can have your Ekholm, you can have your Bouchard. They're still going to get there, and Skinner has to be prepared, and I don't think he is. And on the other note, have you seen the goalies that the Oilers have been beating? No offense to Arthur Seelovs, who came in, had a great. Anyone who's saying that if Demko was in, they would have won the series, obviously has not seen that Seelovs did exactly what Demko would do, if not better, because Demko's playoff experience is also close to nil. So, that being said, shout out to Arthur Seelovs. I almost forgot, but they had to play Arthur Seelovs and Cam Talbot. Now they're going to have to go in against Jake Ottinger, who may have had a rough season, but has woken up and become the Jake Ottinger we all know and remember. He beat the Colorado Avalanche and the defending champs in the Vegas Golden Knights. The Oilers have a lot on their plate. That being said, this is a hell of a run for the Dallas Stars. If they make it to the final or win in the final, they had to beat the defending champs first round. Then they had to beat the Colorado Avalanche, the year prior defending champs, and obviously you had Nathan MacKinnon and Rico Rantanen and all that crazy shit on that team, and Cale Makar. Now they're gonna have to face Connor McDavid, who is arguably the best player in the world, maybe inarguably the best player in the world at the time. And then when they beat those guys, if they beat those guys, they're gonna have to take on either the people who were in the cup last year or the President's Trophy winners. So if the Stars win this year, like I don't want to hear shit about no Mickey Mouse bullshit. Like I know I won't, but there always seems to be that guy that's like, oh well, the run to the finals. If I hear that about the Dallas Stars, if they win the finals, I'm gonna laugh so friggin' hard in everyone's faces because this is honestly the worst road you could have ever placed for a team, and they are excelling at it miraculously. Obviously, it's taken them 13 games to get to the second round or to the third round, which is more than most teams at this point. I feel. Edmonton had that 5 game series. Florida series were 5-6. The Rangers were 4-6. So yeah. The Stars have had the longest or the most games played to get here, but they also had the heaviest competition, and that's not even an argument. But yeah, I think the Canucks are a significantly worse team than the Dallas Stars. I think anyone will tell you that. And it took the Oilers quite a few games. It took them 7 to beat the Canucks, and they were one shot away from having it tied to an overtime in Game 7. I think the Stars will take care of the Oilers. I think the one chance that the Oilers have is Oh, I'm sorry, two. McDavid finds himself and starts shooting the puck. Obviously, he's a great passer, all right? He's built that in him, and that's great that he is better at that now than he was a year ago, and that is great for his character. The problem is he needs to know when to do that and when not to do that. And it still just feels like he's building his skill set in trying to pass every single puck that he gets. You're not trying to build his skill set in the third round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You're trying to advance. So I hope that he reads the situations properly. If he does read the situation properly, I don't care if he gets more assists than goals. I really don't. But when I see him pass on situations he really shouldn't be passing in, that's where this comes from. Like if he doesn't get any like open nets and he passes constantly, then who the hell am I to complain? But I have pulled out at least 1 to 2 situations in every single Oilers game so far, it feels, where he should have shot the puck and he didn't. So that's why I feel like if they end up losing to the Stars and he has open nets and is passing on them, it's going to be on him. And the other person it could be on is the goaltending, whether they go with Pickard eventually or stick with Stuart Skinner. You need to find your game. You need to play well. Obviously, the defense, you need to make sure you're there to help out as well, because I don't think Skinner has it in him to be a depth-heavy team like the Dallas Stars. Um, but yeah, it's insane how quietly Edmonton has built this defense, right? Because the insult for the past like 5 years has been they have no depth, no goaltending, and no defense. Then they quietly got Evan Bouchard that contract that is just unbelievable for him. Yeah, hammered down Darnell Nurse, who, I mean, I don't like him. I don't like his contract, but he's a solid defenseman. I get it. He's useful to the team. Matthias Ekholm, that trade. Great work. Cody Cece, I don't like Cody Cece. He helped out in this game though, a veteran presence, good job. So they quietly built this defense into something that is worthwhile. I think they are missing one piece, maybe. Like, I mentioned Cody Cece. You shouldn't have to mention Cody Cece when you're talking about good defense. However, props to them for doing so. And they're finding new ways to win games. I said give Oilers a taste of their own medicine by scoring from the blue line. Who the hell would have thought that is a statement coming out of anyone's mouth at the beginning of the year? Oilers are all getting in gritty, getting into the circles. McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, and Close. But they're finding different ways to score. This game was all from the blue line, and it was defensemen scoring. And then Nugent Hopkins obviously had his goal. It's people not named McDavid scoring. It's people not named Draisaitl scoring. It's Hyman scoring. That wasn't last year. That was all this year. So quickly and quietly, the depth and the defense has become not so much not an issue, but not a standout issue as it has been in the past few years for the Oilers. The standout issue is still the goaltending. That's the first thing you address this offseason. But it should be good. It should be good. I hope that the Oilers are able to pull one out on the road just to make the series interesting. I would love an interesting series. That's all I ask for at this point. I'm not sure who I want to win. I feel like I'll probably figure it out during game one. I'll be like, oh, that goal kind of depresses me. Versus, ooh, I like that goal. I'm happy about that. That's usually when I figure out which team I want to win. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. It's really nice to be able to talk this much about one specific game or matchup because there's not a million other ones to talk about. So I think I'm really gonna enjoy this format going forward. I'm really able to delve into the team and the players and stuff like that and the situations and how to move forward rather than just review what just happened. So that this was definitely a good one in my eyes. So make sure to leave a like, a comment, a subscribe, and it all starts tomorrow with ECF, and I will talk to you about that.